No, you're guilty.
The battler who sued the bank for nearly $400 million.
He was angry enough by then to say, get stuffed.
The only thing banks care about is scary big numbers.
To go in and bat against a big corporation is incredible.
I just thought, good on you, mate. Go hard.
I'm just a stubborn bugger.
Australian Story, tomorrow on ABC.
A police operation underway in Sydney's northwest, believed to be linked to the search for a kidnapped grandfather. The government defends issuing passports to Australians linked to Islamic State as pressure mounts to block the group from returning home. The US president ramps up the rail line connecting Australia's east and west closed as heavy rainfall and flash flooding lashes parts of South Australia. Sheehan. Police have begun conducting a search of bushland in Sydney's northwest as they continue their investigation into the kidnapping of Sydney grandfather Chris Bagzarian. There are grave fears for the 85-year-old who has been missing for more than a week in what detectives say was a case of mistaken identity. Reporter Jean Kennedy is at the scene at Glenorrhy.
Detectives have been searching bushland in this area behind me on Vesperman Road in Glenorrhy, which is on Sydney's northwestern outskirts. Now, it's the latest search site as part of the investigation into missing Sydney man, 85-year-old Chris Bagzarian, the grandfather who was abducted from his North Ryde home now 9 days ago, snatched from his bedroom by 3 intruders who broke into the home and they bundled him into an SUV and took him away. Now, we've seen some aerial footage from helicopter vision from a little earlier, which seemed to show detectives doing a line search through bushland. And they seem to hone in on a particular area at one point. And we also saw a police dog that was used in that search. Now, police have told me so far that nothing has been found, but the operation here is ongoing and there are still detectives on site conducting a search. The police tape has only just gone up. So we're not quite sure what is happening inside. Now, as I say, this is the latest property to be searched. On Thursday and Friday, a derelict property in Dural, which is not too far from here, probably about 15, 20 minutes away. That was searched by detective, and that is the property where detectives believe that Chris Bagzarian was taken and held for some time. Now, there are grave fears for Mr Bagzarian's well-being. He's now been missing, as I say, for 9 days. He was taken with none of the medication that he requires on a daily basis. And there were several disturbing videos that were circulated throughout the week. One of them showed him with his eyes covered and bound, and the other appeared to show him being assaulted. So very grave fears for Mr Bagzarian. Police remain at this Glenorrhy property tonight, conducting a search which may well go overnight.
The Home Affairs Minister insists the federal government has had no choice but to issue passports to a group of Australians with links to Islamic State who've tried to begin their journey home. The federal opposition is demanding the entire group of 34 be blocked from travelling to Australia. But Tony Burke says they can't be stopped if they make it out of Syria. Political reporter Lexi Junowik begins our coverage.
Sitting down to spell out why the so-called Australian ISIS brides were issued passports.
Under Australian law, if you're a citizen and you apply for a passport, you get a passport.
The Home Affairs Minister explaining why only one person in the cohort has so far been issued a temporary exclusion order, preventing them from returning to Australia for up to 2 years.
There are very different people within that cohort with different histories.
Among the group of 34 Australians at Al Roj camp in northeast Syria are children and 11 women, including some who married Islamic State fighters.
They don't pose a threat to Australia.
On the information that we have, the best way to protect Australians has not involved any further temporary exclusion orders.
They don't pose a threat to Australia.
That's right.
The opposition maintaining the government could have done more to deny the group passports.
If they have advice to apply for a TEO, then they should also have the same advice to deny a passport.
These people are coming back to Australia and the government aren't doing what needs to be done to protect our national security.
People are saying things that they know is not true and is not possible. The laws that we are operating under are the laws that the former government, the coalition, introduced.
Local reports suggest Al Roj camp is slated for closure, but Tony Burke dismissed that's behind why they've been issued passports now, when the group has been there for years. The minister also shutting down claims the government is helping repatriate them.
In that report, it makes a claim that we are conducting a repatriation. We are not. It claims we have been meeting with the states for the purposes of a repatriation. We have not.
For the past week, the government has been at pains to emphasise it does not support the repatriation of the group. But aside from temporary exclusion orders, it says it can't prevent their return. The coalition wants to work with Labor to toughen laws preventing any repatriation. And the Prime Minister has warned anyone who does manage to make it back could be prosecuted. Lexi Junowick, ABC News, Canberra.
And Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran has more about the future of the Al Roj camp in Jerusalem.
We are seeing reports in local Kurdish media that the Al Roj camp will close. There is no time frame attached to that announcement other than that the comments have been linked to a recent decision by the Kurdish authorities, which still control a small section of land in northeastern Syria where this camp is. Now, this does follow a decision by the Syrian government, which controls the rest of the country, to close the Al Hol camp, which is further south from Al Roj, was up until recently under Kurdish control as well, but the Syrian government is closing that camp and opening a new one near Aleppo for some of the people that are living there. The Kurdish authorities are saying that they will continue to work with the countries, their citizens in Al Roj, including government. Australia is effectively telling this group, even if they were to be turfed out of this camp and find themselves in an even more precarious position, they effectively have to fend for themselves.
The Australian government is expected to press Trump officials over the president's latest tariff tirade when the Trade Minister visits California this week. After the US Supreme Court struck down Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs, he signed off on a 10% global duty, which is now bumped up to 15%. But importers are now asking how they can get their taxes refunded.
Times 3 equals. Doing the sums on the mother of all refunds. Behind Trump's tariff smackdown.
Is scared.
Toy manufacturer Rick Waldenberg certainly isn't. The businessman took the US President Donald Trump to the country's highest court over his global tariff regime and won. The family business imports most of its toys from China.
China, first row.
And took a huge hit on so-called Liberation Day almost a year ago.
In 2025, we paid just over $10 million, and that led to an effective tax rate, federal, state, plus IEPA, of over 100%. Make a dollar, pay more than a dollar in taxes.
But Donald Trump continues to throw his toys out of the cot.
We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Still railing against the Supreme Court decision, calling it ridiculous, poorly written and anti-American, he's already announced another barrage of taxes. I will be effective immediately, raising the 10% worldwide tariff to the fully allowed 15% level.
The first catalog.
The Supreme Court did not decide how businesses like Rick Waldenberg's could retrieve the tariffs they've already paid. The total sum collected by the US government is in the tens of billions of dollars.
I expect the government to give me my money back with interest.
Biggest deal ever made.
It's unclear exactly what this means for countries which have already negotiated deals with the Trump administration. The Australian Trade Minister says he's working with the embassy in Washington to figure out the country's options. Kathleen Calderwood, ABC News.
Another psychiatric patient has failed to return to a Sydney hospital, which has prompted a police search. Western Sydney Local Health District notified police when 25-year-old Madan Pandey did not return as planned to Cumberland Hospital yesterday morning. The patient was taking approved leave from the hospital and did not return when he was expected to. He hasn't been seen since. 2 patients previously escaped from the same hospital and allegedly killed 3 people. One of them is accused of stealing a car and leading police on a chase that ended in a fatal crash. The other man is charged over a stabbing that left 1 man dead and 2 others critically injured. The Health Minister has ordered an urgent review of the hospital's security system. A dramatic rescue has been carried out on Hobart's River Derwent after multiple boats capsized in strong winds this afternoon. 25 young sailors who had been taking part in the Bell Reeve Regatta, all uninjured and safely back on dry land.
After 2 days of ideal conditions, huge wind gusts of more than 90 kilometres an hour caused havoc at the Bell Reeve Regatta.
It just brought the waves up quickly in about 5 minutes, very little warning.
Capsizing multiple boats, with 25 young sailors aged between 10 and 18 rescued from the River Derwent.
There were a couple boats overturned and people clinging onto them and sort of trying to bring it in a bit closer to shore, which was obviously quite scary.
Police and ambulance services acting quickly to bring everyone to safety, and the rescue helicopter repeatedly circling the area to ensure no one was left behind.
There are no injuries apart from a bit of cold, and they've all been taken home.
Police say they've been assisting boats and wind sailors struggling with windy conditions for most of the afternoon before wind gusts picked up and triggered the mass rescue.
They were pretty shaken up, obviously considerably wet. Fortunately, the weather was quite warm and they had all the safety gear on that they should have had, so that's obviously made our job a lot easier than it could have otherwise been.
An eventful end to an otherwise smooth weekend on the water. Madeline Rojan, ABC News.
There's a severe weather warning for parts of South Australia's Flinders Ranges and outback region. The heavy rainfall has also caused parts of the east-west rail line to close due to track damage.
Much needed rainfall arrives in outback SA.
We are currently 54 mils and counting.
Delighting farmers who have been experiencing drought and hardship.
This morning when I walked outside and it started to rain, I'm like, well, what is this stuff that's falling out of the sky? Haven't seen that for quite a while. Then I remembered, that's rain.
Tom Filkey is a broadacre farmer in the Riverland and says it's been a very long, hot and dry summer.
On Sunday afternoon we have had 19 mils. We had 2.5 mil the previous Tuesday. Prior to that we had 11 mil the 21st of December last year.
The rain also causing flooding and the closure of the east-west rail line, with the Australian Rail Track Corporation confirming the corridor between Macleay and Bookaloo has been significantly impacted. It says damage assessments are underway, but a return to service timeframe has not yet been confirmed. It says based on current conditions, restoration is expected to take longer than 7 days. It's not just rails that have been affected, the State Emergency Service also confirming road closures due to flooding risks. And say 15 people in Corn, northeast of Port Augusta, escaped unharmed after being trapped in floodwaters earlier today.
The police have closed the road going north in Port Augusta just because we don't want to get people trapped anywhere up there.
Emergency services are expecting the rain to continue into next weekend and are urging people to avoid travelling to affected areas. Brianna Fiore, ABC News.
Political pressure is ramping up to remove former Prince Andrew from the royal line of succession as police continue to search his former home. It's part of their investigation linked to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest this week over potential misconduct during his time as a trade envoy. The scandal is being called the worst crisis for the British monarchy in 90 years and has widened scrutiny of the finances and activities of the royal family. The former Duke of York's biographer expects there will be more serious disclosures to come linked to Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
I think it does make a very strong case for misconduct in public office and also for sex trafficking. So I suspect we may see other charges being laid on Andrew in the course of the next few months.
Students in Iran have rallied against the government in the first protest since last month's deadly crackdown. The rally at a Tehran campus was in honour of the thousands killed in January's mass protests. Some students were calling out anti-government slogans like "Death to the dictator." Tensions rose when scuffles broke out between them and some regime supporters. In the face of the US military threat, President Sheehan said Iranians would sacrifice their lives rather than submit to pressure from world powers. The Hong Kong government is offering the owners of apartments destroyed in a deadly fire cash compensation and resettlement. The inferno killed 168 people in November last year, making it the world's deadliest residential fire in 46 years. The government proposal could buy back the ownership rights of some 1,700 units for around $1.2 billion, or owners could be given new apartments. Authorities suspect netting and flammable boards erected as part of building works contributed to the fire, but the cause is still being investigated. AUKUS leaders say the pact is stronger than ever after the UK's nuclear-powered attack submarine arrived in Australian waters today for maintenance and drills. It comes amid reports of rising geopolitical tensions in the Indo-Pacific regions after Australia was reportedly warned to leave sensitive airspace during a transit through the Taiwan Strait.
A history-making docking in Australian waters, Britain's HMS Anson settles in for a month-long visit.
This visit is historic because it is the first time that Australia has ever undertaken maintenance on a UK nuclear-powered submarine.
Armed with torpedoes and land attack missiles, the 97-metre-long submarine will undergo checks and take part in AUKUS Pillar 2 tests in Australian waters, sending a strong message.
The arrival of HMS Anson following the Carrier Strike Group deployment last year is a demonstration that the UK can and the UK will deploy our most powerful military assets across the globe.
The HMS Anson is reportedly the Royal Navy's only fully operational Astute-class attack submarine, raising questions over the decision to send it to Australia when the UK faces growing Russian aggression back home.
I am resistant to this idea that somehow the Euro-Atlantic and the Indo-Pacific are completely separate theatres. They're not.
They deliver tremendous capability to all three of our nations. They ensure peace through strength.
It comes as reports surface of animosity in the Indo-Pacific. Australian frigate HMAS Toowoomba was transiting through the Taiwan Strait when one of its helicopters was reportedly warned to leave sensitive airspace by the Taiwanese Air Force.
Normally, if there's another military asset in the area, they'll say hello. So potentially it was something more, potentially it wasn't, but I think we can't jump to any conclusions at this stage.
Jessica Rendell, ABC News.
South Australian Labor has officially launched its bid for re-election, again focusing on housing as a key issue heading into the March 21 poll. They've joined the Liberals in promising stamp duty concessions for downsizers, but Labor says its plan does more than just free up family homes. Here's state political reporter Catherine Birmingham.
A campaign launch homing in on housing.
We start with the abolition of stamp duty for first home buyers and downsizers on new builds.
A commitment for downsizers aged 60 and over who move into smaller, new build properties valued up to $2 million.
Because that's how you generate new housing supply.
Labor also promising a $500 million fund to buy land that will be on-sold to the private sector, on the condition they get building, eyeing off former defence sites like the Hampstead and Warradale barracks.
We don't want to see people land banking, making money off not building homes. We want to see industry making money because they are building homes.
When Labor launched its campaign ahead of the 2022 election, the focus was on health and its central promise to fix the ramping crisis. In a sign of just how different the party's approach is this time round, the themes of the Premier's speech were housing and the economy, and not once did he mention ramping.
Ramping has doubled in this state in the last 4 years.
When people call 000 today with a life-threatening emergency, the ambulance is rolling up on time, when 4 years ago it rolled up late. And that's the difference between life and death.
The opposition out to critique Labor's previous ramping promise and spending.
We are approaching $48 billion worth of debt by 28-29.
And on Saturday night, One Nation also launching its campaign in SA.
It's a groundswell of support. There's a movement on around the country, and I'm picking up and I'm feeling that constantly wherever I go.
A feeling that will be put to the test in less than a month's time. Catherine Birmingham, ABC News.
Thousands of people gathered in Hobart today to celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year. The celebrations marked the Year of the Horse, which is associated with strong energy, courage and momentum in Chinese culture. The event included food, entertainment and cultural performances, with politicians embracing the local Chinese community.
Well, everyone's very kind. I believe, look, you know, the society here is really, really good. I think everyone's been very supportive of our event.
Australia has narrowly missed out on adding to its medal tally on the penultimate day of competition at the Winter Olympics. Danielle Scott, Abby Wilcox and Riley Flanagan finished fourth in the mixed team aerials. ABC Sports Winter Olympics correspondent
Scott produced a second career high score for the Games in the mixed team event. USA took the gold, with Australia finishing only one spot off the podium. Scott's efforts in Livigno earning her the honour of carrying Australia's flag alongside moguls champion Cooper Woods at the closing ceremony.
These games have just gone the best it could have, and the icing on the cake now is being given this opportunity.
Today means more than the medals, all the glory, the fame. This is it's one of the best things you can do.
The pair now hungrier for more success.
More to come in another 4 years.
Australia's haul of 6 medals has been no accident.
We've really converted at an incredibly high level, and I think that's a testament to the environment that we got right here in Milano Cortina.
Bree Walker and Chiara Rodingius finished 10th in the two-woman bobsleigh, Australia's best ever result in the event. As Australia's most successful Winter Games draw to a close, Chef de Mission Elisa Camplin is calling for more money to be invested into winter sport to build the facilities Australia is still missing and attract the world's best coaches to Australian shores.
We have been punching above our weight, and we haven't had perhaps the funding we might have deserved along the way, but we've shown that we've made every dollar count.
Norway's Jonas Hørsflot Klæbo has made every moment count, becoming the first athlete to win 6 gold medals at a single Winter Olympics.
Sprinting Goutgouts closing in on the men's 100 metres Australian record after laying down a blistering run in Brisbane. The 18-year-old clocked a flat 10 seconds at the Dane Bird Smith Shield meet, smashing the Australian under-20s record of 10.15 set by Jake Doran in 2018. Patrick Johnson's 2003 national record of 9.93 is now in his sights. Gout's next event is headlining his home titles in Queensland in March. Australia captain Sophie Molyneux insists her side can take positives from its T20 series defeat to India. Set 177 for victory in Adelaide in the third and decisive T20, Australia lost regular wickets as they struggled to match the required run rate, falling 17 runs short despite a half-century from Ash Gardner. The loss leaves Australia trailing India 4-2 in the multi-format series, with 3 one-day internationals starting on Tuesday in Brisbane before a test match in Perth. Molyneux says her side will review the series ahead of the upcoming World Cup.
There's been a lot of lessons learnt that we can sort of bring back when we're in the West Indies and prep for that World Cup, but yeah, we've got to park that and move on to one-day cricket.
The Royal Canberra Show has come to a close for another year, but that's not before thousands came through the gates at Exhibition Park for a unique blend of country and city life.
Reaching new heights at this year's Royal Canberra Show. Other thrill seekers choosing to be firmly strapped in, and for good reason.
The rides are so good. They're scary though, but it's fun, it's really fun.
It's a good way to catch up with friends and everything.
Lots of good rides, so I'm impressed.
The 3-day show once again drawing thousands of Canberrans through the gates.
the last day of the show, guys. Last day to have a bit of fun over here.
The apple sauce and crackling pig dash was popular.
Watch this here.
As were the camel rides.
A lot of people still don't realise that Australia's got the biggest wild population of camels in the world. So it's great to be able to bring these animals out the outback and into people's lives and, yeah, bring the country to the city, as they say.
More common farm animals also turning heads.
There's a lot of sheep here that you've probably never seen before, so people are like, whoa, seeing all these different sheep, and yeah, it's great.
Dog lovers going barking mad with the biggest canine lineup the show has ever seen.
If your dog can walk on a lead really well, then they should be all right. And just good rapport, have them not bite your shoes.
You don't have to wait. Hey, look, hot doggy, everybody.
Dagwood dogs, another crowd favourite.
I love the culture of it, how it's all like everyone's here from Canberra. It's really cool.
Here's your show bags, mate. You have a great day.
Thank you. The 99th Royal Canberra Show has come to a close, and now all eyes are turning to next year. There's a promise that the 100th edition of this event will be the biggest ever. Monty Boville, ABC News, Canberra.
Let's look at the satellite. A thick cloud weather low over the Northern Territory will move into South Australia, New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania. This will generate heavy rain and thunderstorms, most intensely over the NT and South Australia. On the synoptic chart, a low in the centre will move south, creating flooding rain with it across much of the region. Showers and storms expected across most of Victoria, parts of New South Wales and Queensland's east. Looking around the country for tomorrow, moving to Queensland, showers and warm conditions expected in the north, clearing cloudy in the east and northwest, mostly sunny and very warm temperatures expected in the southeast. Mostly sunny in Victoria's southwest and northwest, mostly cloudy with cool temperatures in the southeast, with fog followed by sun in the northeast. Mostly sunny with cool temperatures in Tasmania's southeast and north, a clearing shower in the southwest and wind in the southeast and north, sunny weather in the centre and west. For Western Australia, mostly sunny and warm in the south and northwest, showers expected for the northeast. And in the Northern Territory, showers and storms with warm temperatures in the north and interior. Brisbane, a possible shower. Sydney and Canberra, mostly sunny. Melbourne, some heavy showers and a possible storm. Hobart, sunny. Adelaide, a clearing shower. Sunny in Perth. And Darwin, a possible thunderstorm with a top there of 32 degrees. There's more on the ABC News app and on ABC iView. I'm Meredith Sheehan. Stay with us. State Line is coming up next on the ABC News channel.
Some people believe in curious things.
If I understand it right, they're aliens.
They're aliens.
Some people do even stranger things.
Who have you done bunkers for?
Kardashians, Zuckerberg.
I have Joe.